Okay, so it's 4:15. I was baking cookies. I am freaking getting good at these almond cookies, I'll tell you. I bake them so much. I don't need a recipe, or I just put in this stuff. And I've started making these ones that are real big, like those big cookies. And they're so fucking good. Oh my God. So I make them all the time. I eat a lot of, I eat a lot of cookies. And with the, I saw this thing the other day that said most, it was Americans or humans, I don't remember. Oh yeah, that was that weird thing with the boy. Okay, most humans, or or people, they eat more sugar than they do protein. I bet they are almond cookies, so I don't know. We have to balance it out. Like I'm not sure, but yeah. Oh, the white thing, and so I had talked about this so many years ago, and I think I've dribbled it out throughout, but this white people thing, and so now it has come to the surface of our understanding, is that there is of white people on the planet, the percentage of white people on the planet is 7 to 8%. They think maybe the very top would be 10%. 7 to 8% of all the people are white. It's funny because it is literally like we're the minority. But to me, when I look out, I see different things. Like I see Asian people or Oriental people coming from this beginning tribe. Like whatever happened in the beginning, there's these certain groups or tribes that came from that. And definitely, I think people, Asian culture, Oriental or whatever. And then don't forget, then they all start going out in different kinds of places depending on where they end up going and living. So then they develop into other, other cultures and and this is a long, long time ago. And when my daughter was doing all that anthropology and stuff like that, and she talked to me about the missing link and how there was Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens sapiens. And there was all of this stuff that they can track, which goes along with the Sumerian tablets, but they don't say that. No, the fucking archaeology thing is so. And I tried to tell her some stuff, and she was like, those people are not taken seriously in the archaeology community. I was like, oh, really? Because they're telling us the truth. So, anyways, so that group of people, and then a huge group of the black people. I'm telling you, it's something that goes back to Aborigines. Those people seem the closest to me. Like if we went all the way back, I bet you that is the most ancient of all the tribes. If we in wherever we could link it, and yeah, that's trippy. How does something go forward in these different resets? I think it's purposeful. I don't know. That's so trippy. Because you'd think it would be a total washout of some of these, but somehow it comes back. So I don't know if they use out like the DNA, but they hate these ones so much. They're so like, because these ones have the most connection. And so all of their lineage and their ancestors, so it's like all the black people, all the Asian people. That's why all the Asian people, I think, is the development of the philosophy of the Eastern philosophy of life that has to do with mind, body, spirit. It has to do with your spiritual, how you eat, like a lot of things. But then you think about that organization that starts with a C and ends with a P, and how they are very directive towards their society. And I don't know in all the different things, but I know that those people are so controlled over there. And it is almost like they are so submissive. So it's very controlled and very contained. Now, I think that that is a part of the reason why, is because they don't want those spirits being out. Yeah, I can't let them get to, they'll take us over. And so those people are very deep spiritually. And it all comes from this. And then that is the same thing with, there is so many black people, like they have this deep, deep, it's like a tribal kind of mentality of, I don't know, they have got this certain characteristic that I think goes all the way back in this lineage that is the most connected. So I think these would be considered our earthlings, like. But then there's all these other people, like, I swear to God, the Middle Eastern people are some kind of like a group of aliens from some other place that came here and settled and created their own place, and they have a very distinct kind of way of looking. And I'm sure there's more people like, and maybe they come from the Egyptians. Maybe that is the thing, is that was when all these aliens came or something, and some settled and created communities. But not everybody is linked all the way back into being an earthling genetically. And then with the white people, we already know that was all like a lab construct to just make this generic white people and take away all their culture, all their history. And through this process, if you read the 20, 30, and their plan is this generational attack. And so they said it takes like that was the cookie thing, but they're already out. Four generations to get what you want, to get them turned in a certain direction. That's why, to me, when I look at the fourth generation, for me, it's just like, what the fuck? How did this happen? And then you go through and you examine and you can see how it occurs, but you can see the influence of our controllers. And so it is a very, all this is very controlled and contained. But anyways, the white people are definitely a minority. We are like lab rats, I'm telling you. And I don't know how far back, their experiments, and I swear to God, we're going to find out so much more. And Candace, she is such a part of this disclosure thing now. Every day I see her. Like, I think I've seen 3 or 4 videos this morning, and she was, I think, the first one. Oh, that's because Amy sent it to me. That's why. Because it wasn't the first one in my feed. I saw the ones that Amy sent me was it another flood one, or was that, like, there's so many floods, motherfucking, oh God, there's so many floods. And none of these guys on Marketplace, none of them will message me back or anything. And it's like, you just gotta put your feet up and go with the flow. Like, I can't dig in and get upset and, well, what the fuck, like, it's very weird. There's just like one or something. And the only one that just keeps on and keeps on is this guy. It was this boat, and it's some kind of, I think it's kind of fancy. And they use it off their yacht or something to go. It's like a dinghy thing, and it fits like 4 people, 1,600 pounds or something. It has a motor, and it has a hard bottom, but the sides are, you have to blow up the top part, like it's inflatable on the top part, and it's like $400. And so the first day when I was looking at it, there's a little button you can push when you look at them. Is this still available? So I just pushed that on the ones I was interested, so I would be able to keep up with the ones I was interested in. And so I was interested in finding out more information about that one. And so I had been talking to the free guy, and what was the one? So I was talking to him. Oh, because the boat that I wanted to get in Marysville, the one that was, it was cute because it was wood. And I've seen some really cool ones. But this one had wood. And that was the one that was like, he says 500 pounds. And so I was like, there's no way I could be moving that. I wouldn't even be able to get it out of my car by myself. Don't want to be, dependent on a neighbor. And then sometimes if you are, dependent on somebody, that is yeah. And so, anyways, if you get my drift. So, anyways, I was talking to those 2 guys. The one's asking me to Venmo him, and he's at, like, and then the other guy's saying, come pick it up, and all, that was a whole day of conversing. But then once the guy told me 500 pounds, and I couldn't even put it on top of my car, I was like, well, I don't have a pickup or something, like this won't work. And so then that one, and so I was also looking at some other ones. But so this guy all of a sudden messages me later that night, and he goes, he says, there's a lot of people who want this. So, what are you going to do? I look at this and I'm like, all I've asked is it still available? Like, it's a very generic thing. And I'm just like, what? Don't hold it for me. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And then I was like, I didn't even ask any other questions yet. Like, how much does it was? So I asked, a bunch of the questions. And so he sent me back that thing. Like, that guy keeps trying to push me. And his thing does seem cool. And I don't know if he just really, really needs money or whatever. But his thing's 400 pounds. It also has like, it just wouldn't work. Like, I'm not on the lake or something. I don't have a place where I can just put this. This is like, my, be prepared for the flood coming. Like, I still need to order those life jackets too. But I want to have, this money. And my son, everything is so fucking weird right now. I'm telling you, there's nothing I can touch that won't fall. Everything I do is like, there's such a heavy energy that's trying to really hold us in this tension. So, if you're feeling frustrated and stuff like that, just, keep working through it, because they're feeding off of that. And we don't want to feed them anymore. They just keep pulling us and holding us. And, oh yeah, this is something I wanted to say too. Because Elegant Witchery was saying yesterday, that in her perspective of life and stuff. And just because I say what my perspective is, I'm not trying to discount anybody else's perspective. Everybody, go with what you feel in your life. Like, we all have different soul journeys. And I can't say, like, there's enough people that say that there has been this trap, that they feel trapped and stuff. I don't feel that at all. See, I don't feel trapped. I feel like like a wanderer, like a gypsy, like a free soul. And I don't feel trapped. So, but I do recognize that there's a lot of people who do, and that can very well be something that happened to a huge group of souls. And somehow they got in some kind of a trap. So, like I've said, there's a lot of different things going on. And a lot, just like this planet, like I'm telling you, some of the different people aren't genetically bound to this place. Like, and some of us are I don't know, it's like they took other animals, bugs, they took other beings, and they mixed all these different DNAs to come up with, and they've been doing this the whole time. Because even if you go back to the original people, if they got to go back to their original state, it would be one that was way more into, just natural existence. They created they've been working on this the whole time, superior. And then, so they're always trying to create this superior, supreme being or something that, that they can control. And so, yeah, that's with all their robots and all their, monkeying around all the time. And so there's just going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out, but it's kind of funny, as it is kind of like the white people are the minority. And it's weird. How is it then that out of this small amount of people, especially in America, like I don't know in these other places, because they don't look at it as black people and white people. I don't think so much. They look at it as like a Polish person, an African person, and, wherever you're from, whatever your culture is. Over in America, they got all jacked up, because then they started telling all black people, you're all from Africa. And it's like, there's black people all over the motherfucking place. That was a benefit from that DNA testing. It started opening the world to people of like, where they were from. Even though I think that there's a lot of bullshit with that test too. But it is linking some people. But I feel like it was for sure for, other reasons why they did it. It wasn't for, fun for us. So we could find our connections. It was something like, okay, well, we'll throw them a bone while we're doing this. And so that's where you just got to be always weary. Anything they're doing, they're not doing it in any motherfucking favors. Never fucking ever. And it's like this lady, this is a video. Oh, this was the other video Amy sent me. This woman over in one of the flood zones, which the governor now has said, we're not rebuilding here. But the people are all being outraged, but the people don't realize, like, and I don't know his motivation. I don't know. Like, it will all be revealed. But people got to see the signs from the universe. The nudge of what it's doing. It's moving people. And it's through your soul. Just like I said, in California, when they keep making all this outrageous stuff, that is to outrage people. So they start being like, I am not going to go here. I'm, like they don't want to have their kids in school there. Oh, yeah. And Donald now has come out, said that we're going to start paying people $10,000 a year to teach their own kids at home. I'm telling you, the education system is about to go. And the schools, I don't know what we're going to do with them. I mean, a lot of these places are going to be underwater. So, there's just so much waste. That's the thing, man. In our society, the consumption and the waste, it just turns my stomach when I see it. It's just so, it's like a visual of, the most obese person that you could possibly think of. And this, I think, is out of a scene, out of a movie, and I think also out of a music video. I can't remember. It seems like it's Pink Floyd or something. And with this big, huge person. And then it's also in some movies, but this big, huge person and food just hanging on their face, all this food around them, and they're stuffing their face like it's not enough, no matter, even though they're about to pop. And I think in the things that they do pop, but the gluttony, the insatiable need, I need more, this, and that comes from an emptiness inside. It comes from pain and suffering, and that's what's the sad part about it. But the people are so lost in their pain that they can't get into, find it and release it. And so they just build off of it. And then people get into this, like, I don't know, because it's like fetishy. It's so like driven by impulse. And these people who, the food thing, it's just weird, man. And I can't even handle things. Like, my stomach gets very, like, stretched or full. It's too uncomfortable. I don't know how people can live like that. And to the point of some of these people even bust their stomach open. There was one of those eating people who just had that happen, and she died. And it's happened a bunch of times. A lot of those people, the ones who do these food things, but there's so much food fetish right now. There's so many people. I bet you go on that, what is that thing called? All those people start OnlyFans. I bet there's so many of their food fetish. Oh gosh, yeah. Ugh. There's toe, oh God. Like, the fetish that people, I don't even know where it comes from. It's like, it turns my stomach. I want to see it. But anyways, so that insatiable lust of, needing more, and not be able to fill that, and to be so cut off. But that is like what our society has become. And the micro, macro, the expression of itself. It's very vile. It's very needy. It's very insatiable. It's, it's mindless. It's very controlled. Like, there's a lot of shit. Like, we have a very negative world. Very. And it stems from all of us. It's like our reaction to this existence. And something too I was thinking about was, how, like, now, we have these life reviews, but I was thinking about the how karma is coming and catching people so much in life. Like, things are catching up with them all the time, like things that they do, and then it's like almost immediately they're having the repercussions. And so if you think about energy and the different storylines and stuff and the spiral of life, then you think about these different periods of time of existence. And so when we were going through some of these, this like a spiral of life, and you're going through this, and a lot of these, we left it without any karmic payback. We just, we left it in a, there was a lot of uh, tragedy, a lot of tragic deaths, and this may be a time when they caught people in their trap. Is there was a lot of tragic deaths, and people weren't doing their karma in their life, and then it would pop over to the next one, and there would be a link. And so that karma would be like they'd have to clean up their messes from the life that they had already accomplished or completed. And so I bet you that is when they start catching people and getting them to go back. But there's like, because I know that I've said it a billion times, like, this is not the only realm. They manage all these realms that they can. So if you have the ability to go into other realms, they're around. They're fucking around us all the motherfucking time. They're always watching us and stuff. And then plus we have all these other, like, all these other beings watching us. Like fucking Bigfoot guy told that one guy that that's what's on their TV. They just watch us. We're just a show. We're like the Truman Show to other people in country or other beings and stuff. So that's, it's that's how interesting we are. That's why I say you gotta perform, even if you're alone, you gotta do a little performing, because you're always being watched. So that is okay, so the dogs just caught my eyes, so I'm gonna zip over there. So on the dog thing, it's so funny, this strange dynamic, which I just saw a video that again said that they go in and they check these dogs with MRIs to see how much human language that they can understand. They said they can understand everything. They're like, they understand way more than you people think. They can understand everything that we're saying all the time. And I talk to them just like regular, and I know people think it's so weird. But I talk to them just like regular, and I see that they understand. And sometimes they could have like a slower response system. Like they got to think about what you're saying for a second, and then they'll respond. But they know what you're talking about. They know when you're talking about them. They all of that stuff. They're just, they are souls. Like they're the same like us. Even in the link of these beings, dogs or whatever, the canine beings, there is planets where that is the primary being, and this being on this planet that is some kind of a link to them. So they're intelligent beings, and then it's kind of like people dumb them down, just kind of like our government dumbs us down. And they're all such unique little characters. Oh my God, Archie is really coming out of it. Like, he is a 15 pounds of terror. I can't even get over this fella. And Max is like the little orphan boy. Archie's so much more secure in himself. And Max is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's, I just love these different personalities. And you can kind of see how, their life journey brings them into, how they are and stuff. Like Stella's very spoiled, very like, and she's very secure. She knows like, what every day is going to bring, unless, whatever's coming is coming. And then, our Max is still a little like insecure about things, but he's doing some, oh my gosh. And he copies so much with Stella, but now Archie has. So, and the problem with Max is like, he'll like to go get in Stella's bed, and Stella wants her bed. So then she'll just whine at me. She won't go and just get into her bed and push him out of the way. No, she'll just sit and whine at me, and then she'll go pout somewhere. So I have to move him out of the bed, and I'll try and tell him and tell him and tell him, and he won't, and he won't, and he won't. And he does this all the time about, like, if I were to sit here and I got up and then he ran over and sat in. He's gotten better with that, but he really loves Stella's bed. And, but there's also a part of it where he just, he likes Stella. Like, they have a cutest connection. And, but it's very much because he's very submissive. But see, she's not aggressive. She just wants a partner to take things serious and run around and bark with her and watch out. And he does that so much. Even the other day when I went to go out, he jumps up, runs out with me, stands there looking like he's got this. I've got it. And then I turn and start coming back in, and he turns, comes back in like, okay, like all proud of himself. This is the cutest thing. But Archie does that so much. Oh my God. But Archie polices fucking Max. So I start trying to tell Max, and Archie jumps down and gets his chest up, starts going and hitting him with his face. He starts acting like he is a little miniature English Mastiff. I don't know. There is a thing, like when you raise these certain dogs, you know, that they'll pick up, there's certain characteristics of other ones. So I don't know. We'll just see where it goes, because he's literally, I think today or yesterday, I think would have been the anniversary. He was here for a month. I don't know. I'd have to look back at the paperwork and see when I took him to that vet thing, but that was the next day. And so, and I'm not taking him to get those. I don't want any of those kinds of things. And Stella is sore, man. And it's like this big thing, and it sticks out from the skin. And man, I don't, and I know you go do medical. It's just, it is almost like it's, what is that? Barbaric. Their treatments on us are barbaric. Oh yeah, you know, everybody's like freaking over the girl getting cooked at Walmart in the oven. And I was thinking, boy, there's more than 3 of these weird deaths. Because there was somebody last week or a couple weeks ago who was at work at like some kind of store and fell over out of the freezer count or something. They fell over and got stuck in between 2 things. And everybody who was working just thought they had left. And they weren't found for a couple days or something. They were dead. Like, these keep happening. I was thinking, I wonder if this is kind of beginning to feel a little bit like this is to show us that OSHA isn't here to protect us. Because, like, working conditions are not safe at all. Going and fucking, and so I just saw a video of this girl, and she worked at Walmart. She's totally freaking about this whole thing. She doesn't work there anymore, but she did work there, and she worked in the bakery. And so she was explaining about the ovens, and she said, like, it just doesn't make any sense that they're at the front of the bakery, that's at the front of the store, that the doors are facing out, the windows are right there, and and there's not that much noise. She said they make a noise like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So you would think you would hear somebody screaming, and which makes you think, like, was this woman drugged? Like, was she already killed and then they stuck her in that? Like, what the fuck? This is so strange. And so she's very upset, like, how in the hell could this happen? Doesn't make any sense. And there's lots of people who are freaking, but I don't know, I thought that was very strange. That let me think, because there was some other really strange things that I was like, oh, I say about that. I even wrote them, but I wrote them on my notes thing on my phone, which I can't see when I'm talking. I need to write them on my hand. I need to write them on a piece of paper. I've done that before when there's a whole bunch of little things and I want to make sure that I talk about this or that because I'll see something. Oh, this movie I saw yesterday. Oh my God, it's my new favorite movie. I love this movie. It's called Caddo Lake. So it's Caddo Lake. And it's a new movie. So I don't know, you know, I saw it on Plex and he had just put it on. So I don't know how, it just says it's 2024. So I don't know when it came out. I don't know if it's available to rent. I don't know. I don't know how, you know, there's places that you go and you can download these movies. I think you have to pay to join some of these different groups or something to pay to download. I don't know all the stuff. But so anyways, I don't know how soon you could see the movie, but it was so good. Like if, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but it had, it's so much about like portals, time travel. It all goes together. The portals, the time travel, and in the forest. This was in a swamp, and this space and it came through at different periods of time, that it changed the space. So if you went into it, you would come out at different times of space, times of different times. So you could go into it in 2024 and come out of it in 1952. And there's a whole storyline to it. It is so good. But you really have to pay attention. And really, I love brain twister things. And so it's definitely a brain twister thing where you will see, like I could see some of the things where I was like, wait a minute. But you don't for sure know what's going on at first. So you just got to pay attention, and then it plays itself out. It all comes together. And then it's so good. Oh, I loved it. And there was another movie too. It was a supernatural one that I really, really loved, and I saw it a few years ago. And I don't want to spoil that one either. My nose is... There keeps being these weird little bugs, like flying around, like gnats or something. And I keep seeing them flying around. Yeah, I feel like one flew at my nose just now. Yeah, all of a sudden it would tickle way up. Oh, that was weird. So, anyways, and this other one, I can't remember what it was called, but it was on Netflix. And it was, it'd be hard to... Well, if I don't know the name, I can't really spoil it, but I can kind of tell you like a little of the storyline, because it had to do with souls being able to switch into different bodies, which that was another movie I watched after Kato Lake. I watched one called Hereafter, and that one was on that. And there was some things in it about death that I was like, I didn't agree with so much. But it still did good. It still did good. But the whole thing with which I think if somebody dies, and then somebody comes back into the body like a half hour later or something, and the person does act way different, I would start to think it was a different soul. I wouldn't just think like, oh, this is just from their accident. I would definitely think this is a different soul that has entered this person. And that is what that other movie is about that I had seen on Netflix. But this person who has this ability is very intentional about doing it and does it on purpose. And in the beginning, when they did it the first time, I think it was like off of something very impulsive, like, I love this person, they don't like me, so I'm going to take this person's body over so I can be with them. So it's very intentional, and I would imagine that there's probably people that can do that, but the bodies that would be done to would be ones that were like drug addicts or some drunk people and stuff. And I think that there's so much about the alcohol and the introduction of alcohol, and I feel like it was used as a weapon on us, honestly. And I mean, and there's a reason why there's so much death and stuff around alcohol, and that it isn't illegal. And then they want to make weed illegal. And now they've got a study coming out, and they're saying that weed causes stroke and heart attack. I call bullshit on that. I say if you, they're trying to link it into stroke and heart attack just to scare people, because I think that, smoking weed is going to relax you. And it probably has some vasoconstriction or vasodilation to help you relax. And they don't want that. And so they want to keep you away from that. And so they're going to scare people, spook them, that kind of gross thing, spook them into being compliant on what it is that they want you to do. But the things that are causing those things to happen are the vessel is so depleted because it is so drained of minerals that it is like running on empty. And then they're totally a saltiness mentally, physically, emotionally, which is draining people more, and they're getting their systems all out of whack. So many people with this cortisol issues and stuff, like it's a whole thing I see people talking about all the time. Cortisol, like, and insomnia, anxiety. Now there's a huge thing that just came out and they're hiding it. And this is the thing about the awakening, is all this hiding it is what is waking people up. So remember that as you watch this play out, because that is where people are like, what the hell is going on? Why are they doing this? Why aren't they talking about this? And that's what this guy was. And so there's some common drug, because there's like over 4 million people on it. And it is causes the C. So that, and they're not telling anybody. And in this study that just came out and shows this, and they're not telling anybody, they're not pulling people off of it. So this person's like, what the fuck are those? And that it keeps going and going, like with the floods, the government. And oh yeah, that one video where the woman was at the flood thing and she was showing the government food. So she went down to the camp and got a package. It is the most lamest package. I can't even believe it is freeze-dried food or whatever. But everything is powdered milk, is weird water stuff, like and Amy sent me that one, and she's like, I bet you those full of chemicals. And when I was watching the video, because I hadn't seen what she had said yet, I was just watching the video, and it was making me so uncomfortable, because I was like, oh my God, that is so full of chemicals. And it's like the people get attacked and they turn to the government to get the thing, and it's just the next kick in the book. And it's just like, oh God, but you can't get people see. See, they have to go through it. They have to get sick and then question it themselves. And if you try and question it for them, they just think you sound crazy. But that is the awakening. And everything, yeah, every perplexity is the person's own awakening process that they have to go through. So everything is there playing out for a reason. And so, but what was I saying? There seems like there was something I was talking about that I cut myself off of. Was it some of the people? Okay, well, I don't know what it was. Let's just go over there to Kamala. Like, she is being so fucking exposed for all this stuff. This is Wednesday. Okay, so this is Wednesday. So we're only on the hump day. We still got most of this week left. So anything can go down. Once we get to the weekend, it always kind of like fizzles out. I think then it's like he's at rallies saying stuff, because he's been saying a lot of stuff. You know, just like, you know, we're going to pay you to go to whatever school you want. You want to go to a private school, you want to go to a religious school, you want to homeschool. And I sent that to my one daughter, and she's like, I hope so. Because there's so many parents who would rather stay home and be paid to teach their kid than to go and work and struggle. There's going to be such a lovely thing is going to happen in so many people's lives when this happens. But they're going to have to face their demons, you know, along the way. That's the thing. If people haven't been facing their demons, they're going to get bombarded. So it's not going to just be easy street for everybody. But the people who have, and the people who have been facing some, then when the awakening happens and they see this, you know, the rest of the story, and they see where they were aligned and they process through that, it's very variable, like, you know, of what causes people to hang on and to contort themselves to discipline into a conscious state of a community existence. Like, if that makes sense. I'm just going with the words. Like, so anyways, I think that, you know, a lot of people will feel a relief of being able to just be home. And then what was that one too? Okay, so yeah, there are all these places where they're saying they're taking these people's land and stuff like that. Like Hawaii, I think they need to, like, that fight's a different fight. Carolina, and even though Hawaii's going to be underwater, like, go look at the map. Hawaii's going to be underwater. And, but this fight, this battle over there has been going on. Like, this isn't that long ago that they took this land from these people. And so they need to stand up to these people. That needs to play out. And so they need to all not just abandon the area, but like over in the Carolinas and these places that have already been hit, if it's in the range of that area of the map that shows is all going to be underwater, they need to mind that. They need to be like, okay, we got to be going. And this government is, is showing us, this is a big part. This is a big part I see waking people up. This government is showing that they are not helping us. They're not going to do anything for us. They're going to take all of our tax money. They're going to send it to somebody else. And they're not going to do shit for us. And there was a guy over in the rescue thing. And he's been in rescue since Katrina, he said. And he's been doing all of them. And he said this is the first one he's ever seen that is like this. He said, I've never seen anything like this at any of the rescues I've ever been to. He said that the government is blocking. It's like he said, it's almost like they're trying to hide something. And, which I'm sure they don't, because this was all done on purpose. And they wiped out people, but they did this with the towers. Like, this has always been them. In fucking Oklahoma, I fucking know it was them. Like, when that happened, their stories are always just like, what? There's just holes. Like, if you're somebody who, like, some people just read it in the news and just go on with their day. Like, it has nothing to do with them. But, like, when I hear stories, I hear holes. I hear, like, wait a minute, what? Okay, wait a minute. Wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how my mind works. And so, all these different things. And like when I was a kid, I didn't trust the government. I was telling people way back. I came into this world as a conspiracy theorist, but when I look at past lives and stuff, there's reasons why you you are with a group of people and they get you killed because and you trusted them and stuff. There's a lot of stuff like when you go back to past lives of these things, you just got to go into your own and you'll start seeing past lives aren't just like, oh, I was a king, I was a queen. No, it's like real life. Like all these real life stories were our stories. And so we've gone through a lot of bullshit and we've gone through a lot of hardship and stuff, but it is what grows the soul. It's what makes the soul expand, its energy bigger. And that is the soul's destiny. That's what the soul wants, It's kind of like I think we all want to get as big as a soul to be able to make a planet, like to create a whole world, and not just our own world. Like we have difficulty just creating our own world, especially when it's being mastered by these other people who are containing and controlling us. And that is, oh yeah, Jaguar Wright, she just came out and said that all the songs are spells. And when you go in and sing them, and she said even Kendrick Lamar said he really hated doing songs about shootings and stuff or guns or whatever, because he said that every time that he would do that there would be. And because it's these spells and the people in charge know that. See, that's the thing about it is that, like when I was a kid and I was always drawn into spirituality. I mean, it was like, no, it wasn't a choice that I had. I mean, they've been talking to me since I was a little kid. So it was always the direction I was going to go. And so I always had an awareness. I had awareness of them. I understood that they weren't monsters or alien. I understood. I always saw them as people. And, but the people of a different dimension or something. And in the one movie, Cato Lake, when you switch into the different realms of reality, there does have these different things where it is like in a physical thing. And that's what I was talking about, why they don't just come zipping down here all the time like it's no big deal. That's why we have to go in these spacesuits. Just like if you went to the bottom of the ocean, you have to have specific gear. So that's why they're not always just zipping in, like, well, why, if they're around, why don't they just come down here and hang out with us or whatever? It's because we are in a low density. We're in hell. And it's like that it takes a lot for them to come and to be in this realm. It's very draining. It's heavy. And that's why we need these containment for our soul. And but these other beings that are dark, they don't need a containment for their soul because they're heavy, they're dark, they are full of that energy. And we are light, and so we have to go into a container so that we can go into this existence. And we come into it just as like explorers go into the bottom of the ocean to look what's there, to experience what it is. And but you know, I'm not discounting that. I feel like there was a group of souls that were trapped here, because there's way too many people who feel that sense. And you have to acknowledge how people feel on their inside, because that is their breadcrumbs to their reality of existence as their soul. And so, and everybody has their own soul journey to figure out like what it is, why, you know, how did you get trapped here? What did you do? How did they talk you into staying? How did you stay after one life? Why did they put pressure on you? You know, you have to go in and look at these things. And which I always think like the hypnosis, reflection, meditation, however you can get yourself into that state where you start having like it's like movies or something. They'll come in and you can see. And then also you can have, like, if you don't have good with the visuals, you can have it, like, you can hear it, like somebody could tell you, I would imagine. Or you can just feel it, you'll just, like, know it somehow or feel it. Like, to me, it all goes together. And, like, I can hear it, I can see it, I can feel it. And so it all kind of goes together. That's why I feel confident in the things I say, because it's like my fucking existence. And so I was spiritual ever since I was a kid, because, you know, I mean, I didn't have really much choice. I always had them talking to me and pointing things out about things. And so I would try and talk to people and tell people, like what these other kids are doing. And I would try and tell people, and then nobody would ever listen to me. Never. Nobody would ever listen to me. And then as I got older, it started being so confusing to me, because I couldn't understand why people did the things that they did and stuff. There was just so much where I was like, what in the hell? And I would try and talk to people, and then you know, I would talk about certain things, and they would say, you know, like I don't believe in that or whatever. And I go, like, really? Like, really? Like, you really don't feel like you have a soul? Like, you really don't feel like anything's alive inside of you? And stuff. And don't forget, like, I also had that perspective of when I was a teenager coming out of my body. You know, I already knew, like, I had so many different things. Like, I was a teenager when I had that car thing happen, where I was about to hit that truck, and I just closed my eyes, and then nothing happened. So I was like, and I was in front of the truck, and I was like, fuck, you guys are magic, man. Like, and I really started understanding that nothing can happen to you until it's meant to happen to you. And there's nothing. And when it is time for it to happen to you, you're gathered around. You know, everybody's there waiting for you. It's not, and it's real quick. It's not where you have to go through this horrible, long, challenging death in order to get there. No, you leave as soon as it's like, as soon as it's for sure thing, you know, you're out. And so, because like, even, you know, some of these things are horrific. There's, yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, this guy. So another one of these weirdo motherfucking, this guy has an Instagram, and he was a clothes designer or something. And this just happened. And so he's on Instagram as clothes designer. And I don't know, it must be hot or something. I'm not sure. And so he, this girl, I'm trying to think of how it was playing out. So I guess it must have, oh, it was Tinder. Okay, yeah. So this guy's on Tinder. And so this girl matched with him. And then she had apparently looked him up or whatever and saw. And I don't know if she matched with him before she knew who he was or after. But if he's like some Instagram design influencer kind of guy or whatever. So she was like, oh, yeah, cool. She's going to go out with him. And so she still told her friend to watch her all day. And she'd be texting her on the date and stuff, and for her to watch her. And so she goes and they go, I don't know, out for drinks or something. And that leads to dinner. And then dinner leads to, let's go back to my place. And so last thing she had said to her friend was she was going to his place. Everything was fine. And everything was going really great. And so she would see her in the morning. They were college kids together. And so she doesn't show up. She doesn't go to her class. And so the girl is like, what the hell? And she, what did she do? I think she went directly to the cops and showed them the text. And the girl in the text said that there's no way that she would disappear. And so the cops go to the door to this house, knock on it, nobody answers, and they just leave. And so the girl doesn't know what to do. So I think she posted on Facebook or something. And some other girl messages her and says that her sister had gone out with this guy and she has disappeared. And so they both of them meet up and go to the cops together. So then the cops get a warrant, and then they go over to his house, and he's not there, but they go in and find all this evidence. And so apparently, so that he could make it, he went in to work for this other people who were going to promote him, but he just has to do a service for them. And then he gets promoted in his designs. And all he has to do, what they're looking for is good, clean skin. They're making top-notch quality leather. And they need some good skin. So even on his Tinder, that was a part of the thing. What turns him on is nice, clear skin. And he said, and then they said even that he went on one day, this girl lucked out, man. She used filters or something on her pictures. And then she went to the date. And when she got there, he saw she had acne scars. Maybe she had a tank top on, and he could see because she had acne scars on her face and her thing. And he said, you misrepresented yourself and left the date. He wouldn't even do the date at all. And so he was only looking for certain things because he paid for his promotion in young girls. So, and I have been saying for how long, like, people get all caught up in this sex thing, but there is so much more to it. And I don't even know, like, is there rich people who are just going and saying, yeah, I want to buy, I mean, somebody's making those red shoes, right? So, I don't know. These people are fucking freaks. But there is also a whole thing that's coming out is that there's a lot of the leather stuff that we have is not cowhide. And which even with that, I think that's kind of why it's all coming out, honestly. Because when you look at it, it's like, so we're saying kill a cow, we'll take its skin, And it's one thing back when they, were surviving and they go out and kill an animal, and a cow would be easy. And so they'd kill it. And then they used all of the hide and the furs and stuff. They used them for coats and jackets and stuff. So it was like they didn't want to waste, like our world. And so that it was like no waste. And now, because I like leather shoes and stuff because they last longer. They're better quality, but in purses too. But because that other stuff that they make that looks like leather, it peels off. It's like a coating that just peels off. So you get some shoes and then it starts this, like the outside of them starts peeling off. And but I don't know. I think everything with our clothes and our shoes, I think so much stuff is going to change. It's not going to be immediate, drastic, but it's going to. And I know we're going to start really being supportive of independent designers. Not this guy. He's obviously going to jail. But, oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, there's more of these weird... God, there's so many just crazy stories. Oh, yeah, because this is not far from me. The family that just got the massacre, and it was their house was a $2 million. It was this beautiful cabin in the woods, like really, really nice looking. And it says $2 million house, but they're in a very expensive area. And they had like 7 kids or something. I don't think 5 kids, I think 7, but it was 5 or 7. I don't remember, but, and they were pretty young. And their kids, there was some teenagers, but it kind of seems like, I think there was some adopted kids. I'm not sure. But but then the mom homeschooled, and everybody around them in their neighborhood and stuff, so they were just little lovely people, really nice. Everybody liked them. Their kids were great. And, but one of the kids freaked out the other night and massacred, annihilated the whole family. And there's a girl who survived. She's in the hospital, and there might be one that wasn't there or something. I don't know, because they still haven't come out and said who all the people are who have gone. They've just said, like, it was 3 teenagers. Another teenager did it. The mom and dad are gone. The little girl is in the thing, but I think that there was some littler kids too. So I don't know. I don't know if they were like having a slumber party and the little kids were at the grant. Like, the whole story hasn't been told yet. They're just giving little bits because it just happened. But this is another one of these, something weird going on with these teenagers. Like, I swear to God, I think it's something with mind control. And they showed that in that show I was talking about. Something off of their TV things or something. And then there's some kind of trigger word. So it's like they hypnotize these people through their programming. And then they use these trigger words to initiate contact or something. And, yeah, this is kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. So when you talk about these people want to control us and stuff, and they want to use us, see, that's like what they would be doing through mind control to create a super soldier. Like, well, if we do this, well, if we try this, and then how does that work? And like, they could legitimately, like, okay, because you think like, well, how do they even find these kids? Okay, so in school, I've told you that everything about this school is like a filtering system. They're just looking for certain people, and the people that they have control over, that they are informing them and programming them and belittling them and tearing them down. And it's a whole process for their filter system. And so some of these kids, then through counselors in different ways, then they become targets. And so then there's a lot that has to do with certain things in our minds. And it's like our connection or our willpower, what stops us. Like, you know, like with my first husband, on that MMPI thing, you know, where they said that he wanted to kill me, but that he needed time to talk himself out of it. And so it's kind of like that. And so it's kind of like where you have an ability to like recognize your impulse and to take control of it, like to be rational, to think about the outcome and what you're really doing, not just an emotional response. And because that is very primate, go with your emotional response. And I see that's why I say there's a lot of things that are like primitive that we are advancing from. But it is, I think that is, it's like there's like 2 sides to us. And so this other side has advanced, even though it seems like this side isn't, but it hasn't all come together. That is like when this awakening happens, that is going to be this cohesion into the melding of both sides of people. Right now, it's like this chaotic thing happening as these 2 sides of people start to battle and be able to see. And then there's all this distraction and stuff, but whatever is going to hit and cause this chaos, that is going to be where it brings everybody into this certain level. And but each person has to do it for themselves. And so it's like what they're looking for is people that like don't have a connection to their soul, don't really, they think people are like out to get them, uh, have some sort of dissatisfaction. They look for certain characteristics that they can build off of. And then like the whole thing with counselors and stuff like that, like there's a more nefarious thing that goes on. But it definitely, what I have seen is that they find certain people in the mental health system, and then they begin to follow them, harass them, maybe drive them crazy. Like that one guy who I'd seen the story of on that chapter, which was so weird to watch that chapter guy, because he was acting like that the guy was just mental. And I was like, what is really happening to this guy? And this is how people react. Is like, okay, crazy. And so he was trying to say, they're coming into my house, they're moving stuff around, they're trying to drive me crazy. I think he disappeared. I don't remember what happened. But they do that, and that is why, you know, you see these kids go out with these, and they go into malls and movies and grocery stores and stuff, and they start going crazy, and then, you know, education centers. And then, you know, we're all like, well, what in the world? And that's why they can link it back someone with the parents, because they've got access through their psychological history, so that they know like what parents are codependent, enablers, or it's also a way to take down, and it's also a way to scare us into compliance, to, you know, like, well, if you don't, then this could happen. So, and what you don't want to do is get involved in their mental health system with your kids, I think. But, so the, so they get access to these kids, and then they start messing with their minds. And then I think it's become quite clear. I don't think that, you know, I don't think you'd find a conspiracy theorist out there who would say, oh yeah, those towers are for cells. No, they're not. Those are not cell towers. Oh, wait. There's something else. Or something for controlling the place with frequency. Like, I would think it would almost be like if they wanted to do something, all of a sudden they would crank those up real quick, and we would all like have this loud sound in our head or in our ears or something. I think there's something. It definitely has nothing to do with those. And the other day when I was feeling so weird, you know, I had to drive back to Seattle again the next day to go pick him up, right? And it was raining, and it was, but it was daytime, and I started feeling like I was falling out of my body again. And I look up, and right there is one of those things standing right in front of me. And then so I started thinking, okay, so is that it? And I totally felt like this, my body shivering or something like this. I don't know how to explain it, but I definitely felt like, okay, this is something to do with that. There is something they are doing to crank up the chaos on us, using those things to make people feel more anxious. And the anxiety, I mean, well, you know, those meds are obviously killers. So, I mean, they don't want you to know that. So they want to get as many people on it as possible. And over here, I'm telling you, like, I feel like Washington State fucking carries that. You know, they're the winners when it comes to how most people on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicine in one place. And so I think that that they want to get everybody on there, make people more docile. I think, man, and what the meds now, man, they've even, it's gotten way more scarier. It's like that they've put kind of like nanos or something, like some kind of a bots inside of stuff to, it's like they put it in there when it goes in us. So we have all these different free radicals in us, but something that they can do brings those free radicals in together to create something from the inside. And maybe right now all they've been able to create is sickness, But what they want to create is us to be under their control. And that is what all of this mind control and siphoning, it's all a test. It's all this creation for making these super soldiers. It's been going on for such a long time in human history. And they want to make this super powerful, mindless, can do anything, don't care. You know, it's like the slaves of like murder slaves. Like these people, it's so weird when you think about like these people and what drives them. It's just so dark and evil, and why? Why do they need these? Like, who do they like to use them against us? Like, they want to turn us into super soldiers to use them against us for their entertainment? Is it like the gladiators and stuff? Like, they just want to watch us all kill each other? Like, that's what gets them off? I think so. I'm pretty sure. That really does get them off. And I think that's part of the problem. That's probably a problem in our society. They really get off on our pain and suffering and murder. So they like to carry us for purses. So they like to eat us. Well, not so much the white people, but they do like dark meat. That's for sure. And maybe it's because they know, like, the white people are kind of just like, it's kind of stale. It's kind of, they've drained it of everything. Oh, and also, having a lot of moles. I just saw this the other day because I have tons of moles. And they said a person who has a lot of moles is oftentimes going to look 10 or 15 years younger than what they are. But that would, I think it has to do with the melanin. I think everything has to do with melanin. And see, that is what they're trying to take out of us as humans. And that is another thing, too, that I trips me out, is because when we go out into the sun, we can go into the sun one color and we can come out of the sun in a different color. And so it's like they're whatever they're trying to do isn't exactly working for them. But it's like they're trying to take it out, but still there's always some in, because it's like a natural state of being or something for humans. So there's certain things that they keep trying and trying, but everything's blowing up in their faces. Like, and everything's being exposed. What is that Candace is exposing now on, like she's just being exposed for all these different things. And that's what's going to be shameful for these people, because it's like, the blue people would not ever listen to Candace. Like, hell no, they're not listening to that psycho. And so they're missing all of this information. That's where it's going to show them their biases. It's like, oh, I could have known about this if I would have put down my biases and listened to this person. So that's where they have to work it out. Like, why couldn't I listen to her? Why wouldn't I listen to her? Why wouldn't I see the whole picture? Why was I unable to see what was right in front of me? So they got to go through all of that process. But that is their soul's journey, their soul's healing. And that is why all of this stuff is happening. Everything is happening is for this consciousness, this, because it has been so controlled by these people. We've been enslaved by this group of people in this dark place. And so that is what this, of evolution, ascension is, this is occurring, this big jump, this big wave. And that is why it has such a big jump. Okay, so let's see if I can explain it right. So the big jump comes because the soul is such a higher vibration. So your soul is such a higher vibration, but they do all of this stuff to keep people disconnected from their souls. So they keep them in a lower vibration, and they keep them combative towards one another. Because when you start to unify, you start becoming truer to yourself and to your soul. And so they want to keep us separate. They don't want that. And that is why they go and attack all these different tribes and stuff like that. They don't even want that energy, because they know how it goes out. They know how the 100th monkey works, how our energy connects, and we all start getting the same kinds of things and seeing the same things and stuff. So they want to keep us in ignorance so that we're controlled. And so let me think how that was. I was about to say that. So the, so the evolution, so the one keeps people, man, I get lost in there. I don't know how I got lost, because it seemed like I could understand for a minute how I was going to say it, but now I can't see it. But it was, everything is about this evolution. Everything is about us evolving as a species. And, oh yeah, okay, so it was the merging of ourselves. Okay, so that is, okay, that is why this is so much like this coming together, both parts of you. It's like the good and the evil inside of you coming in to become a combination. And so it is, in the dark, the bad parts of you come from this reality. The good parts of you come from your core. It's like you are light, and you are an angel. You are from the heavens, whatever, however you want to look at it. And so you are a high vibration light energy source. And then you come into this spacesuit, and then you go into the experience, and but it's a virtual world that you forget. When you step into the spacesuit, you go into the virtual world of the reality that is playing out. And when you go into it, it becomes all that you know. And in a place where we weren't being manipulated, but then it would be the heavens. So you come into this place, and that is the challenge. That's the game, is being able to override what is happening outside of you. But so many people get caught up in it, but it has to do with how I see it. It has to do with their interference in the connection of your communication with your soul, and the keeping people distracted. It has to do with all this programming and this manipulation of people's minds. And so it keeps them very trapped in the three-dimensional. And that's what I'm saying. Like, some of the people who are very trapped in the three-dimensional could be souls that have been trapped in this system for a long time. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of these things. We have to see how it plays out. Like, our truths are going to be coming out, but there's more than one truth. That's the thing. There's a lot of truths. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of different things happening here. And so, and it's been around for a long time. And there's different beings and different planets, there's just a lot. And so the group, so easy to get lost. It's so weird. I can be talking, but then it's like I'm just going with what I'm seeing. And it's like I'm not registering or something. Okay. So let me think what it was. So you go in this evolution of man as we evolve into okay, so that evolution is the combination. So it is like this is where like the lights come on. This is where the interference stops. And so it's like the lights come on, the interference, or however you want to look at it, because it's like the noise stops. It's like everything is just all of a sudden people will see. Somehow it's just like a boom, and it's like a moment where everybody stops breathing or something for a minute, and it's just like, then all of a sudden we all and that's when everybody feels their own consequence to, like, everything rushes in to their minds all of a sudden, everything they've said to people, everything they've looked at, and it's just going to be like this real shock factor of people. And it has to happen that way. It's like the slap from the universe to get people to wake up. And it's important, because you don't want to be trapped in this system anymore. You don't want to be trapped in this, where they keep you under their control. You want to evolve out of it, because that is, you do stay trapped apparently. And so the waking, but that is where the universe is going to do a big assist. And then there's a whole bunch of us who are here to, it's like the, what is that? I see it like stewardesses, or the people, hostesses or something, just to kind of direct people. like, yeah, this is what's happening. You just got to go in and you got to go through it. You got to face yourself, face your demons, let them go so that you can evolve out of it, because that is the part of you that was contained and controlled in there. Those are the parts of you that came out. And you don't have to feel shame or anything like that. It was supposed to be. You were supposed to learn those things or show them to the rest of the universe or whatever. So it's everything is important, so you don't do anything wrong to feel bad about. But people are going to feel bad about their own choices. They're going to feel stupid. They're going to feel regretful. They're going to feel ignorant. They're going to feel sad. It's going to be a whole long process. And but what is happening is like these two sides of you is merging, and those merge, and that's what people will feel on the inside. It's like the light and the dark will hit into each other, and that's going to promote the healing. But this is going to be micro, macro. Everything is a representation of everything else, and so that is going to be happening on the main scope of things. And in the individual, when the stuff comes in to face their light and dark to merge, that is the yin and yang. That is the balance. That is where you come into yourself and you create your own state of balance. And it is independent. It's like, you know, it's like I see a giant landscape of land. It looks like a desert with mountains, but there's tons and tons of different wheels. Just tons and tons of different wheels. We don't all have to match. We don't all have to be exactly the same. We just have to get balance in ourselves. And then once we reach this balance in ourselves, which pulls the whole balance into our reality, that is when that you can really become more in tune to where it is you want to go. So where you want to take it, whether it's like your spirituality, your freedom, your abilities, whatever it is, that is where you'll really start going into that direction, going towards you. And so that is where it's going to be a beautiful part of this rebirthing a society as this all occurs. This is the death of a society, and then it's got to go through the mourning, and then it goes through the rebirthing. And right now we're still in the death. We're still in the letting go. We're still in the part where outrageous shit is happening and people are being like, what is going on? And that is, you know, because our society has been so closed down and controlled for so long. And so all of these different people are coming into their awakening of questioning reality and understanding that there's something going on here, and there's so much about the lies. And what always gets me about the lies is it's not just, you know, well, lying about our earth plane or any of that stuff. What gets me is the lying to us about what we are and death and stuff. Like, and just the fact that they created a society that fears death, that shows, it shows how nefarious and controlling they are, because death isn't real. And is they're promoting that in our communities, in our society, in our understanding, that is what is so disgusting, is that because they know death isn't real. They know that them convincing us that death is real is why we die, and them keeping us sick. And see, that's the thing, is that they wash us out, deplete us of all of our chemicals, and then they know that, and then all of this emotional, physical assault on us. And then when they come in with all of these chemicals and stuff, our bodies can't take it. I'm having such weird sensations. I've never had some of these things before. And you know, all I can do is keep detoxing. But I'm having things that are like, what the holy hell? It's like, God damn. So, all of these different, you know, and I know that I've got the autoimmune thing because the Epstein-Barr is the start of it. And I had the Epstein-Barr, and before I got the brain injury, I was in nursing school. No, I was a nurse already. I was a nurse. And, you know, I got so sick, but I was so weak. That was the thing. I was so weak. Man, that was hard. Like, I'd have to go sit down in the shower. I can't even stand to take a shower. I just sit down and take a shower, then get up, drag my ass to work. I was so fucking sick. And that's another thing too. Like, we go to work. How are we doing our best jobs and when we're all motherfucking sick all the time? And then we feel bad, like we're doing something wrong, like we're a weak ass bitch or something. No, we're motherfucking poison, motherfuckers. So I already know I've got the autoimmune. I just don't want to submit to it. I don't want to be, go all in. I don't want to get caught up in all their fucking diagnoses and stuff, because I've got a generalized idea of what autoimmune is and what whatever all their labels and bullshit is, just to try and pinpoint a medicine that's going to work for you. And I don't need their shit. I know that the best thing we can do is just keep detoxing, trying to get this stuff out of us. And that's what I keep trying to do with Stella. And this thing has me so concerned. I don't even know. I just don't even know. Like, it's fucking making me nervous. Like, I wish it would kind of fall off. But it'll see, like, if they went in and cut it, that just the whole thing. I just don't want to mess with them. I want to keep approaching things in natural order and thinking, like, of, nature knows how to take care of itself. Like, deers and birds. Like, I have seen some pretty cool bird rescues. Like, I saw one the other day that was really cool. A guy found an eagle on the side of the road with a broken wing. He picked it up. He put it in his car. He was petting it, talking to it, and driving it, and the eagle's just looking. And then he took it to a place to get worked on. And which I think a lot of those have to go to those places, rescue places or whatever. Oh yeah, what was that one? Because there's so much drama with those too. Because there was one, it was not a badger. What are those things called that do the rivers? What is that called? Beaver. Yeah, so it was a beaver, and this beaver was found as a tiny baby, and these people took care of this beaver, and so it grew up, but and it was around other beavers, but it didn't want anything to do with any other beavers. It would go and build little dams in the yard or in the house or something to kind of separate itself, to be separate from the other beavers. Didn't want to be a part of the beaver community at all. And so then the sanctuary started saying, well, too bad, it has to be released. And so it became a huge court battle. It's like, what in the world? Do our courts have so much fucking that you have to go and fight? And this is not the first one I've seen of that. That was the beaver. Oh my gosh. Hold on. There's the beaver, and then there's the alligator. This guy had raised this alligator, and it was like, I don't even know, 30 years old or something. All of a sudden, they decide they're going to take his alligator away from him. And there was another one, and it was, what was theirs? There's all these exotic animals that are having these weird things where all of a sudden the government's going to take them away from these people. They have to pay new licensing. They have to pay for just stupid stuff. Just stupid stuff. Like, all these different things. Like, I'm telling you, I think these deaths at work are to show us that there's nobody to protect us. The government going after these people for more money, and especially when it comes to things that you love. And then they want to charge us. But they have been taking people's kids away from them too. Like, we got all that going. So all these things are all to show us what our society was and what it was built on. And we can't trust these people. And when you go deep into it, you find out how much we can't trust these people. And how much these people, it's like we're their toys. It's like these are a bunch of sicko weirdos, and we are their toys. And as long as we don't have discernment, we are their puppets. And that they can control us through song and movie and stuff, and get us to direct the storyline in a certain direction. And at this point, it's kind of like we don't know what for sure direction is going to play out. There's this whistleblower lady's coming out who she was the guy who was in charge of NASA, and then he died, and then on his grave thing, and he has Psalm, whatever it is, 1819 or something about the firmament. And so, that guy, very German name that I don't want to say. And so this woman worked with him, and he wanted to tell the people what was going on. Something about he wanted to tell them the spaces and what we think and stuff. There was a whole thing that she said he wanted to disclose. But what was it? Why was I seeing her all of a sudden? I don't know why that was popping into my mind. But all of this stuff is going to keep coming out. Like everything. And it is going to go back to like this guy wanted to tell us. But these people have kept everything secret from us for so long. That would anything to benefit us, because as soon as we know who we are and stuff. Oh, okay. So the thing about directing us of how to think, of how to create our own. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So he had said, this woman is saying that he had said that they are going, he said that they do everything as war tactics and to get us to kind of be in fear and rely on them. And he said their last one is going to be alien invasion. There's a lot of people have been saying this for a long time, and it is kind of like they're leading into that. And I think, though, that the one group is trying to get it out there to the other group that don't be in fear. These are not monsters. They're not out to get us, but we could still go under attack. But even this Von Braun guy said that it was our government doing it. And that is what people have been saying all along. And so if that goes down and we start getting attacked from the sky, you do not want to go towards the camps or anything. Do not go towards any of that shit. Find a group of people and go huddle up somewhere, protect yourself, because that's more attacks from our own government. And don't forget, they have drones and heat-seeking missiles and all sorts of shit. So, and they know where we are in our houses. They had our vacuum spying on us and everything else. Like, this place is so fucking weird. We all just go around thinking we're just doing this. And our vacuum's in there spying, giving them a diagram of where our house is laid out. My God. And so they find us with their little drones. And that movie, it's Tom Cruise, fucking fish fucker. What is that? The Last Day on Earth or something? It was he is in a few of these space movies. But this one, and him and his two kids are on the run. I think they're trying to get to the wife in Boston or something. And there's this part where they're down in this what are those things called? Basement. And they're trying to hide, and these creatures are coming down there. But I see those creatures as like our own government sending out creatures, these drones looking for us with creepy eyes and shit. But it's their own fucking drone robot crappy thing. So it's the last thing you want to do is run towards them. Like, I swear we need to all start heading for the caves. But I don't know, the giants took those a long while ago. Everybody's always been running from these people. Because they have no feeling of any, they don't have any feelings of remorse or compassion. All they have is desire, and their desire is to destroy. So that is, that's what we're dealing with. Is these people who just are mindless. And that, maybe that is a part of their super soldier. They're trying to see if they can turn us into them. Of not having any feeling or something. But I don't think that they can. Like, they have to do so much to break the mind. Because it isn't just that. It's our heart. It's what runs through our blood. It's how we're designed. And so they can't. And that's what is this battle between good and evil. The frustration of wanting to create their own creation, and being against that is of which is natural, and which is us, organic beings. And even though there's a lot of that has been manipulated, there's still this birthing process that we have to go through to come into this reality, into their world. So it is really, yeah, we do enter into their world. And we come in like as challengers, like I challenge you to take me over. But then people get taken over. I'm about to get taken over by her. I'm about to start my day. I'm a slave to these little doggies. So, oh, looking at me like, she's going to feed us now. So, it's 5:45. They're starving. They've already been up and had treats, but anyways, so I'll go feed them. So, whatever is going to go down, like, who knows? Who knows what's going to go down, when it's going to go down. I just know something's going to go down. And when it goes down, you'll know when the real thing's gone down, because it will be like a giant slap to the world. It will be, you know, Will Smith on steroids. It will be so significant. And it's going to hit like right when everything is hitting. Like we've got all these people flooding, all these disasters happening. And then it's just going to be something. It's just going to really turn the other direction. Because you have everybody who's falling apart. So it's kind of like the universe is going to come in and slap them like, come on, you guys, get it together. Remember who you are. You are eternal. You master this shit. But then when they start feeling like, oh yeah, but what about what I did there? Oh, and I did that. Oh, I'm not really a good person, am I? You know, they got to go through that process. And the whole process is just getting to the point of acceptance. Just be like, yeah, I'm a little bit good, I'm a little bit bad. And that's just the way it is. And the universe doesn't judge you as you judge yourself. So just remember what you're doing here is you're learning how to love yourself, how to love everybody, and how to have a loving day, because it's up to you. And they're trying to trick you through songs. So they're trying to trick us through movies, through songs, to make us play out this horrible thing that they're trying to create. So let's get our shit together. Talk to you later. Bye.